IRS Bank Snoop exposed. I am Silverback Kongo, and this is my gospel. Let's begin. Hidden in President Biden's 3.5 trillion budget. Well, it should have said $1 trillion. It should have said $1 trillion budget. Hidden in President Biden's 3.5 trillion budget plan is a provision that would authorize the Internal Revenue Service to snoop on Americans' bank account. Nebraska State Treasurer John Murant said his state is leading the charge in objecting to the proposal that would compel banks to report private customers' accounts with at least $600 of transaction to the IRS. The people of Nebraska entrusted me to protect the privacy of these accounts, and I'm not going to comply with this. If the Biden administration sues me, we will take it all the way to the Supreme Court. We're going to fight every step of the way, Murant told Fox Business in an interview. The administration says it will generate about $460 billion in additional revenue over the next decade, intended to help fund Biden and the Democrats' pricey planned climate change policies and social programs expansion. Murant and 22 other financial officers across the country announced their opposition in a statement issued by his office earlier this month. They cited infringement of the constitutional right to privacy and said the costs associated with the requirement would be passed on to consumers, more like citizens. Well, then again, they think of you as a consumer anyway. So, this article was written by Mark Moore in the New York Post on Friday, October 1st, 2021. Okay. So, Big Brother wants to continue being the big brother that he is. Big Brother says that he now wants to go into your bank account to make sure that you are giving a portion of your transactions, whatever it may be. They're not going to wait to the end of the year. They want to make sure that whatever you claim at the end of the year is accurate. So Big Brother is going to go out of his way to make sure that you're giving your cut for being a good citizen. More like, oh no, for being the product that you are. Okay? At the end of the article, it says they cited infringement of the constitutional right to privacy and said the costs associated with the requirement would be passed on to consumers. Man, this was so right on the dot. Consumers, because you are a consumer. Okay? They think of you as a consumer, and you're also the product. Okay? But this article here, if you examine it closely, it says this gentleman by the name of John Murant. He says he's opposing, he's in opposition to what Biden is proposing. The illusion here is that he's in opposition. They're giving you a heads up. This is an article. It's a heads up article. Okay? What we're about to do. They're going to do it regardless. Just in case you complain later, it's going to be documented as they did inform you. All right? And this guy who, again, as my brother Jason Black always says, white supremacy, how do you say it? They debate on both sides. They argue on both sides. Okay? On one side, they are in opposition to the other side. Meanwhile, at the back end, they are in agreement. They just want you to pick a side. They want you to say, oh yeah, I'm for the Democrats. Or I'm for the Republican. They want you to be in that limbo. All right? So, this guy wants you to believe that he's going to go and fight for you, well, for the folks out in Nebraska. He wants them to think that he's going to go out and fight. And he says he's going to fight all the way to the Supreme Court, if it takes, whatever it takes, all right? Whatever it takes. The illusion here is Mr. John Murant is really on the side of the Democrats. But they want you to believe that he's in opposition to the Democrats. Now the facts are here. The fact is Biden wants to make an additional $3.5 trillion from what? The citizens. Now, if these people are not gangsters to you, if they're not gangsters, if you consider them to be good, what do you call it, representatives of the country, you, my friend, are, how you say it? You, my friend, are a fool. Okay? You are a fool. This here, they call it an article. I call it a letter to the citizens, especially my people. Okay? Because majority of the money that America makes is really from the poor citizens who they got working in the what do you call it? The jobs? No, the plantation. Okay? They've got you hooked to the plantation, and you're gonna work. And you're gonna find a way. If you're not putting your money in your pillow, you're gonna be pulling it in the bank account. They're gonna have a way for you, in order for you to utilize that money, right? Because they want to get rid of cash. So you're gonna have an account one way or another. And what Big Brother wants is for you to, my people, is for you to continue working at the plantation. Now, if you enjoy working at the plantation, good for you. But for people like me and many others, start creating your own. Start creating your own business. Start creating your own systems where you know how long you want to work and when you want to stop working. But if you are in a plantation, they've got you on a 9 to 5, sometimes 9 to 9. All right? But I took some notes. I took some notes. Basically, the illusions that they told you in accordance to the Constitution, the quote-unquote rights, they're no rights. The perception is you have rights based on a quote-unquote document that says you have rights. But the rights that I'm aware of and the rights that Bantu people know of, the Africans, these are God-given rights, right? And they are not so clearly defined. They're not strict. When it comes to these people, the pink people, when they give you a definition, you better believe that there is a restriction. And it's always murky. So you may think one thing and eventually they'll tell you another based on their definition. It's never a clear-cut definition. So when it comes down to the quote-unquote Constitution, it is open to interpretation to those who are authorized to interpret the Constitution of your rights, right? Your rights that they define is open for interpretation. So basically is whatever they say goes. There is no freedom. If you think you're free in America, I beg to differ. There is no freedom in America. This is it's becoming more and more clear, especially with the killings of our people. It's becoming more and more clear that there is no rights. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back to the article. Okay. Now, if you look at the article, the other thing is I'm going to read it straight from the paper. Nebraska State Treasurer John Morant said his state is leading the charge in objecting the proposal that would compel banks to report private consumers' accounts with at least $600. Right? Now, what happens if you don't have an account? I mean, as of now, right? In the future, eventually there's going to be a way for you to, if they don't put the chip in there, the chip in you, or, that's coming, by the way, the chip in your hand. That's already being done in some countries right now as we speak. But what happens if you don't have an account and they can go into your account to check of your quote unquote transactions? What happens? You are automatically an outsider. You are automatically operating in the underworld, right? You're no longer within the framework of the Constitution. You're not in their system. How are they going to deal with those who are not in the system? They don't explain that. Right? So that's just something for you to think about. Another thing, they say that the people of Nebraska he said the people of Nebraska entrusted me to protect the privacy of these accounts. I'm confused. Is the account state account, or as they say, it's a private account? So what does it mean? They entrusted him to protect the privacy of these accounts. Then it goes on to say that if the Biden administration sues me, we will take it all the way to the Supreme Court. So therefore, what Biden is going to attempt to do, is really not constitutional. It's illegal. So this guy, he's using his office to become a dictator. Right? Because he's issuing executive orders that would eventually, if it goes his way, become constitutional. Anyway, we are going to fight every step of the way, Morant told Fox Business in an interview. The administration says it will generate about $460 billion. So they're sitting around conjuring up, coming up with ideas, finding ways to further oppress citizens. Never mind, there are systems already, quote unquote, systems called businesses, entities, right? That already are generating financial gain, right? In order to be in business, you provide a service, and then the citizens decide whether they want to use the service or not. Most often, they go and use the business, and you are generating income. But to go out of your way to go and impose this idea of taxing people with $600 in their account, right? Taxing people who are already struggling to pay day-to-day items, food, whatever. To further tax them is like putting a heavier load on the people. Meanwhile, you've got systems that are generating money faster than one individual can go and do as far as work, right? So Mr. Biden is going out of his way. He's trying to enact a law that's going to further oppress the good citizens of the country. And Mr. Murant claims that he's going to be in opposition to this attempt. But I say this is just another way for the devil to oppress the Bantu. Okay? Because the majority of our people are the ones who are working. Majority of our people are the ones who have $600, if that, or less, in their accounts. So this oppression here is really, it seems like it's going to affect the greater population of the US, but really it's really going to affect black folks, right? Black people who don't have systems in place. And when I say systems, I'm talking about businesses, because a business is a system that's utilized, that's in place to generate revenue at a faster pace, as opposed to one individual working for trading their time for money. Anyway, we hope this attempt, this scheme doesn't go into effect. But in the meantime, Bantu, make sure that you are that you start thinking about creating a business, right? Because a business and an individual account gets taxed differently, right? Again, they're putting a heavier load on people who are working in exchange for pay, as opposed to a machine or a system in place that's generating money faster. They are taxing people who are working for pay, right? So they're putting a heavier load on you. They're saying indirectly that We're going to penalize you for working for money, to work for pay. You understand? They're going to penalize you for working in their plantation. But if you create your own business, they won't do as much as they would do it to an individual, which is backwards. It would make sense to tax a system that's generating money faster as opposed to one individual who's just trying to make ends meet day in and day out. But then again, this is the work of the devil. All right? Please subscribe here on YouTube. If you're viewing this broadcast on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, as well as on GoLuxuryLinks.com. So there's two ways for me to make sure that we keep in contact. It would be better for you to subscribe on YouTube and subscribe on GoLuxuryLinks.com or on the other platforms, Dailymotion or Twitch. With that, subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, may Kongo reign. Peace to you, Bantu.